Let's go to Chris Sims, who joins us now on loan from Pro Football Talk Live. Hey, we haven't spoken to you in a while here. So Super Bowl fallout here. Now we're talking about Jalen Hurts getting paid. I don't know if you're on the same page with giving him $45 million, but what options do the Eagles have in a situation like this?
No, you're right. I think you said it right. I mean, options are limited, and I know he deserves that. I do. He's proven people like me where I didn't know how good he could be as a pocket passer or throwing the football. He proved me wrong. I mean, it's certainly where I thought it ended last year. We saw tremendous progress there, and of course, and one of the all-time runs there by a really good football team, and then now they're at a point too where he's got them is that they got a great team and they've kind of orchestrated this offense around his talents. So from that standpoint, yeah, there's no doubt he deserves to be paid. And I got a lot of respect for Jalen Hurts and some of the things he's done in his career to this time and the adjustments he's made.
What were your reservations about him?
Well, yeah, just the again, if the run game didn't work, if they played a team that was able to slow the run game, right? There was tight window throws, making the proper throw, putting the ball in a location that, made sense for a quarterback, things like that, that quickness of the release, the quality of the football, all of those, were things I questioned. I mean, there was a reason, again, I know I say these things and people go, oh, you're a hater. And I want to go, wait, but this is why he left Alabama and went to Oklahoma. Because there was those issues. And that's why he was drafted in the second round because, I think a lot of people came away from his pro day workouts going, okay, it's good, but it's not great. But we've seen the adjustments made and, they got a really damn good team down there in Philadelphia.
Your thoughts on the Chiefs' victory lap where they're taking receipts. They're calling out everybody who didn't believe in the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, hey, they're a special team. They're a chippy bunch in their own right. And, I think they felt disrespected with the talk of the Bengals, right? The talk of the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. They're way better. Oh, you lost Tyreek Hill. You're not going to be the same quarterback, Mahomes or team and all of that. So that's where I don't think Kansas City has got enough credit is they're a passing team, but they're a physical passing team, as we've seen. I mean, stopped two of the all-time run teams we've seen here to win Super Bowls the last 10 years. The 49ers, the Shanahan offense, got physical, stopped the run game in that one.
Yeah.
Did it again in this one. And, they got something going as far as a young team that I think is, only going to get better. And it's complete. And really, Dan, the thing about that Super Bowl, I mean, Mahomes was phenomenal. Steve Spagnuolo and what he did on the defensive side of the ball, that was an all-time defensive game plan. It really was. It was special. And some of the things he did for them to win. I know people are going to go, well, he got up 400 yards. How special it was. If he didn't do some of the things he did, it would have been 600 yards and 45 minutes of time of possession. So that was a special game plan from him.
More likely to get back to the Super Bowl, the Eagles or the Chiefs?
Man, they're both high up there. I mean, of course, I'm going to take the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs to me are a team that it's to me, it's like when they win, it's like, hey, the pressure's off and let's just go do this again. And they have fun and it's not like New England where maybe they're stressed out all the time. And, it's Bill putting the hot poker on everybody's butt and all that conversation. So, yeah, I'll go with them. And the Eagles, though, that team, that roster, man, they're scary. I mean, they really are. That's where, there's two things about that Super Bowl. One, I mean, there's a reason Fox, all the people in the pregame, you saw all of them pick the Eagles by 7, 10 points, right? Right? You saw Greg Olson come on the telecast and tell you how you talk to people around the league. This is like the roster of rosters. That was an unbelievable moment. Kansas City was not as good as Philadelphia. And the game plan and Mahomes, the way he played was amazing. And that's where I'm amazed by that. And then the other one that I'm amazed by is that people think Jalen Hurts should be the MVP over Patrick Mahomes. That's where I just go, that's insane. I don't understand what people are saying there.
He's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live co-host with Mike Florio. I said when asked this question that the Eagles might have a better chance because the AFC is loaded.
Right.
The NFC, who are you worrying about? The Niners?
Right.
I mean,
I hear you.
That's your main competition, and it's not to discredit the Chiefs. It's the AFC is loaded. The best quarterbacks are in the AFC, and that's why I think it would be tougher. It doesn't mean they can't make it. I look at the Eagles, but I also look at the Eagles. You're going to lose some guys, free agency. You're going to pay Hurts all that money.
Right.
Is Kelsey going to play? I mean, the offensive line, Lane Johnson, like these guys are getting up there. And so I don't think this is a dynasty. I think they got some really good players. I'm going to be curious of how long they can keep them and continue to play. And you lose both of your coordinators there as well.
Right. No, they got an uphill battle. They're right. And you said it all right. I think you unpacked those details correctly. We've seen the Chiefs can orchestrate it, with the quarterback contract, and they know how to develop young talent. And, and your point about the AFC and how tough it is like totally real, Dan. I'm with you. I mean, that's no clear cut right or wrong there.
Yeah.
I think the AFC, we might be getting into the mid 80s, early 90s conversation almost, where it's like, okay, yeah, Kansas City's the main team. And then, hey, the Bengals win one. And then the Bills win one. And then, hey, it's Kansas City again. And then, almost like it was with the Niners, the Giants, the, Washington Redskins at the time, the Bears, the Cowboys. You kind of knew it was going to be those type of teams. But, to your point, I'm interested to see what magic Howie Roseman can work there in Philadelphia once again. And, I just am a believer in that greatness of the Chiefs football team to think they'll be back, especially with that guy at quarterback.
Why does Eric Bieniemy have to leave the Chiefs to take the same job with the Commanders?
It's a gift and a curse, right? Like, yeah, it's a gift. I get to work with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, but nobody gives him credit for it. And I think that's why. I think maybe if he can go somewhere. And, man, I love the fit with the Washington Commanders. I love the fit because you think about what they got, right, Dan? Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, right? Antonio Gibson, a running back. Even Sam Howell, he can throw the deep ball and move a little. That's a lot of things. Eric Bieniemy can get people motion and shifting and going all different places. So, but I think that if he did it and went there in a place like that on his own and had success, people would run out of some of those excuses they use against them. And, my other thing is maybe Eric Bieniemy has to play the game within the game a little bit. Got to be maybe a little more of a politician behind the scenes, because I think that's what some of these guys that are passing him up are doing maybe. And he's old school, and I respect that, but that doesn't always get you a job.
So that's what you're hearing.
Yeah, that's what I've always heard.
Yeah, but I would go to Andy Reid, Chris. Let's say I'm going to hire Eric Bieniemy, I want to bring him in. First guy I go to is Andy Reid. The second guy I go to, I ask if I can talk to Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And just say, can you tell me what Eric does? Yeah, we had Orlando Brown Jr. on yesterday, and I said, who calls the plays? Does Eric call the plays? And he says, I don't know. There's a mystery here. It's strange.
I know it is. It's weird. It's weird, and I think they share the duties a little bit, and that's part of it. But see, my problem, Dan, is nobody cares about these questions when it's an offensive coach off the Shanahan staff or the McVay staff, right? That's where they just go, well, he's never called plays, or he just worked there. Let's give him the head job. But this one, all of a sudden, we got 25 questions about it. And that's where
I think it's fair.
Doesn't look right all the time, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, a couple of things. If you ran the Bears, you're on the clock. What are you doing with the number one pick?
I'm going with defense. Okay, this is where the world's crazy. All right, I'm going to have a little chuckle with you here, right? Because I was kind of portrayed as the Justin Fields hater of the world, right? When he was coming out in the draft, I had some issues throwing the football. Now I'm the guy in Chicago or anywhere else I'm defending Justin Fields. And now all those people that were telling me I was an idiot and that I only have the job because of my dad, they're going, wait, he's got questions. He's got questions throwing the football. We're not sure about him throwing the football. I'm going to go, well, no, SH ... No crap. Thank you. Oh, but don't apologize or anything. But my thing here would be the biggest thing, Dan, is I'm just Justin Fields has an elite trait that's really rare. I would never trade that
It's
away.
not sustainable.
No, it might not be, but I don't know. Is Bryce Young at 5'11", 180 pounds sustainable either? That's what I would argue to that, right?
But
so,
I got to do the math. I got to do this is a math, equation. I got to pay Fields in a year and a half, and I got to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can reset the clock. You're not ready to win anything now, and you can trade him away. Send him to Carolina, and let him be a star down there. You take your quarterback. Yeah, you have to entertain that. You may not like it, but just because I got a 1,000-yard rusher and he's my quarterback doesn't mean I want to keep him as my quarterback.
Listen, I hear you there.
And is Bryce Young rated higher? Is he graded higher than Justin Fields was coming out? The answer is yes, right?
Yeah, probably. And I haven't studied those guys yet, so I can't give you a fair assessment on it yet. We'll get there, and I'm sure we'll have conversations. And then I hear the things you're saying there too, and I don't think those are wrong. But see, to me, this is it's almost like the Bieniemy thing. We use that against Justin Fields, but I don't hear anyone go, "But it's not sustainable with Jalen Hurts." So it's okay with him, but Justin Fields. And what I want to say is, put an offensive line like the Eagles have, and put 2 number 1 superstar receivers on the outside and a top five-ish type.
But you don't have that. Jalen Hurts does have the element of I can throw to Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown.
Well, they're going to have a ton of money in Chicago this year. I hope those are some of the things they do, right? Justin Fields, to your point too, Dan, he needs to learn to take care of himself. I do think playing that way is sustainable, as long as the quarterback knows how to protect himself. And, the other thing is you don't need to run him 20 times a game. You just have to have that threat of him available to run.
You do have to run him because they have no offense.
Well, that'll happen, but I don't think you have to call 20 run game design runs for the quarterback. I'm saying if you call 8 to 10, he's going to flirt with 100 yards in those 8 to 10 rushes, plus the scrambles that happen.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm hoping that, this is why they bit the bullet last year. They were paying millions and millions to guys that weren't even on the team. So hopefully they can do that. But back to the main point is Justin Fields is he's an elite runner. He's an all-time great runner. And I would put it up there, not just with the quarterbacks. I would go top 5, put the ball in his hands, anybody position in football right now. I'd go Justin Fields. He's in that conversation, and I just wouldn't trade that away, Dan.
All right, if you run the Jets, what are you doing?
Oof. Well, I mean, I know Aaron Rodgers is, of course, the big shiny object that's out there. That would scare me. I mean, Aaron Rodgers at his best is the best option out there. But what it goes into trading for him, the commitment you're going to get from him as far as years. And Dan, some of the things you heard me talk about on the show this year, right? It was not a great year. He was antsy in the pocket. He was unwilling to pull the trigger and make throws into tight windows. So that would scare me a little. It would. So I of course, Rodgers is probably candidate number 1. But then after that, I think I look at Derek Carr to be the next guy.
But if I said you could have Derek Carr, you don't have to trade for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him for 4 years. No drama.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to get Aaron Rodgers maybe for 2 years.
Maybe. Right.
I would take Derek Carr for 4.
Yeah.
Because the Jets are really close. They're a playoff caliber team in the waiting.
Definitely.
But they might be 2 years away from being, an actual playoff team. So
that can make a run in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So I would look at that window. Aaron Rodgers coming in, I just don't want to deal. As great as he is, I don't want to deal with that. 1 year to the next. I just can't do it.
I think it's fair. That would the number one thing that would scare me is what you're saying. That we trade the farm, we pay him this money, we establish something. Oh crap, we're right back in the same boat, and we need a quarterback. Now, hopefully, that's where maybe a Zach Wilson could take over and develop. We'll see. But either way, I think you're saying some really true football things there. To your point too, you get a Derek Carr. Well, that probably would end the Zach Wilson thing unless he failed miserably. But the other thing is, you said it right. They're a young team. So you get a Derek Carr, you could maybe build something here for the future that's sustainable as well. I'll be interested to see what they do because Rodgers, Carr, Garoppolo, I could see any of that kind of stuff happening.
I'll leave you with this. Do you think the Packers have already headed down the road without Aaron Rodgers?
I certainly think they're thinking about it, right? And have at least a pre-plan down there. And I don't have any inside info to shed light on that situation. But how can they not be, right? How could they not be a little sick of the drama and all the stuff all the time as well, like you just discussed? So I gotta think they're kind of getting their ducks in a row. Like when Rogers made the comment 2 weeks ago, like seems like there's some conversations about me going on that I'm not. Well, there has to be. Like, these teams can't just go, we won't think about quarterback until he comes out of the dark room, and then we'll try to. They got to start figuring things out and talking, behind the scenes a little bit. So I would think there's some pre-planning, Dan.
Have you gone into a dark room before?
No, never,
Okay.
never. Only when I go to sleep. I mean, that's it. I like it dark then, but after that, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's not for me.
All right. Great to talk to you.
You the man, Dan.
That's Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk Live, co-host with Mike Florio, the show that precedes ours.